ะเหลืองแดงจะได้ดูง่ายๆเดี๋ยวทานข้าวกันก่อนนะคะมื้อนี้ก็จะเป็นบุฟเฟ่นะคะไฮไลท์ก็จะเป็นบาร์บีคิวมองโกเลียนนะคะซึ่งเขาก็จะมีอาหารสดแล้วก็จะมีพนักงานของมองโกเลียนนะคะแล้วเราก็จะเที่ยวกันนะคะพอเที่ยวกันเสร็จเรียบร้อยนะคะหลังจากดูน้ำพุเต้นระบำ2 ทุ่มครึ่งเสร็จเรียบร้อยเนี่ยค่ะรถถึงจะไปรับเรากลับมาส่งที่พักนะคะแต่ดิวันก็จะเรียนเรื่อยๆแล้วนะคะว่าข้าวของต่างๆจะทำอย่างไรนะคะแต่รถคันนี้ยังรอเราหลังจากที่เราทานอาหารซะก่อนตรงนี้จะเป็นหอพักค่ะนะคะนี่ค่ะส่วนของตรงนี้นะคะมีทั้งนักศึกษามีทั้งผู้สอนนะคะอยู่ตรงนี้นะคะแล้วก็เดี๋ยวนี้ที่วันมาดูที่พักนักศึกษาของเขาเนี่ยนะคะผู้หญิงกับผู้ชายอยู่ที่เดียวกันผู้ชายอยู่ชั้นบนผู้หญิงอยู่ชั้นล่างค่ะไม่มีปัญหา ไม่มีปัญหาอะไรเลยที่จริงแล้วก็เป็นจุดมุ่งหมายนะคะจีบกันเป็นแฟนกันสักพักพอดีนะคะระดับมหาลัยเหมือนกันนะคะอย่างบริษัทจัดหาคู่ของสิงคโปร์ที่เขามีคือคนสิงคโปร์เขาเป็นโสดกันเยอะไงคะแล้วก็ทางรัฐบาลก็จัดนะคะให้มีสมาคมมาเจอกันคนโสดอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะเขายังแบ่งแยกนะคะคนที่มีความรู้จากประถมถึงมัธยมมาลงทะเบียนที่คลับนี้นะคะคนที่มีความรู้เนี่ยนะคะระดับมหาลัยขึ้นไปมาลงทะเบียนที่คลับนี้นะคะ
This is only one of the campus. This is the largest campus. We are a comprehensive university. This site that you are here now is called the Kentridge campus. Yeah? And there are also 2 other sites at Outram, which is where the General Hospital is, where we have our NUS graduate school. And another campus is at the Bukit Timah. That's where we have the Faculty of Law, and we also have the some of the research institutes there. Yeah? We also have 8 NUS colleges, overseas colleges. Bear with me, I will touch on it later on. It's not your typical brick and mortar overseas college. It's a special college, but we'll touch on that later on. And on top of that, we have 23 research centers and institutes. I'll touch on that later on as well. And 3 research centers, and 3.5 actually, because we got another one in partnership with NTU, our sister university in the west of Singapore. But Singapore is very small, yeah, it's the size of Bangkok, maybe even smaller than Bangkok, and it's a country. So NTU is the Nanyang Technological University that's in Jurong. Yeah. Now, where did we come from, and who have we nurtured so far? We have since 1905. Yes, also we have many presidents and prime ministers of Singapore passed through, graduated from NUS. We also have leaders, international agencies. So we have many leaders. For example, I'm not sure whether you know Professor Kishore Mahbubani, who was the president of the UN Security Council. And we also have prime ministers of other countries, have are NUS alumni, namely Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, which is the ex-prime minister of Malaysia. He went to our medical school. Okay, there are many other key government figures. Captains of industry, for example, I'm not sure you know about New Water. Have you heard of New Water? In Singapore, we are very resource scarce. Yeah, water is included as a resource scarce. It's also a resource that is very scarce. So we recycle our water. Everything that goes down, I know it's not started drinking your water yet. Hope my description doesn't put you off water, but we recycle water in Singapore. What goes down the drain, a lot gets captured, recycled, purified, and it goes back to the system again. So actually we have someone from the water industry actually from Singapore. I forgot her name now. Sorry. I'll come back to you the name. Just he looks me off a sudden. Many entrepreneurs as well. We also have an entrepreneurial center in Singapore, and NUS rather, the NOC. Okay, the NEC, the NUS Entrepreneurial Center, which is just across the road from here. Yeah, over here, developing this technology that recycles water. So what we do is all water that goes down the drain in Singapore gets recycled. In fact, if actually you were to have a drop of water in Singapore, it probably stay here for centuries with this new technology, because it gets into the cycle and comes back again to your tap. Tempo, coming back to donate money to also nurture younger Singaporeans and NUS students to pay back to the community. How do you do that? Okay, by working with disadvantaged, working with children, working with disadvantaged families, Okay, so these. Our vision is to be the leading global university center in Asia, influencing the future. Now, centered in Asia is obvious. Singapore is part of Asia, but it's not just physical. It's also where we see ourselves in terms of positioning in research, in terms of how we're going to network other universities. So when we say centered Asia, we also are very interested in Asia studies and ASEAN studies. Yeah, I think there are certain things that are in Asia that is very endemic, that it's good for Asian people to take the lead because we understand our society better than, say, other people. So, Central Asia. Now, the mission is to transform the way people think and to do things through education, research, and service. So, how do we actually? What's the NUS difference? How do we actually become a leader, or how do we strive to do more in global education? I think it's important this day and age. I think globalization is a very important keyword to all universities. I mean, you cannot just sit back in your own cocoon and pretend the world doesn't exist. Yeah, I'm sure it's the same thing for Thammasat University, and you do a lot of networking, you do a lot of research collaboration, you also do a lot of maybe you have students coming to Singapore and NUS and vice versa. So what do we do here in NUS? Okay, of course we do two things. We have incoming students and outgoing students, or more than that actually. We actually bring the world to NUS, and we also take NUS to the world. Okay, so how do we bring the world to NUS? Okay, our students, and we have students and faculty members from 100 countries. In fact, it's more than 100 now. Yeah, every day is increasing. About 18% of undergraduates and 60% of our graduate students are from abroad. 18% of undergraduate. So if you were to walk around in NUS, you can hear some people speaking Thai. Yeah. In fact, we celebrate Thai festivals here. There are Thai students with interest groups here. And sometimes when I take the bus, the internal bus, I hear people speaking in Thai. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder, am I in Singapore? You close your eyes, you might think actually you're in a different country. It's a very cosmopolitan campus, very cosmopolitan. Sometimes you are on board the bus, you hear every single language except English. You hear Mandarin, you hear Thai, sometimes you hear Arabic, sometimes you hear even Spanish, maybe French. So we have very, very cosmopolitan mix here. For graduates, actually we even have a higher degree of international students, 60%. The reason why it's lower for undergraduates is because we are mandated to keep the figure low, because we want to give Singaporeans opportunity to come to the national universities to pursue education, tertiary education. Also, another way that we actually bring the world to NUS is partnerships. We have many, many partnerships. Yeah, this is the way to go forward because we cannot possibly do everything here, and we are not. In some areas it's good to collaborate because some people might have slightly advantage in their own countries in certain disciplines. So we work, for example, with Duke. Anybody heard of Duke University? Duke is a university in the States, yeah? So we work with them. We have a medical facility. We have faculty in Outram, our other campus. We also have a Yale NUS. Yale, yes. I'm not sure whether you got a chance to see our whole campus, but we have started the Liberal Arts College, like your college, your Liberal Arts College. We have the Liberal Arts Education now in Singapore, and it's in collaboration with Yale NUS. It's in collaboration with Yale, so it's called Yale NUS, Liberal Arts College. YSD is that we use a lot of acronyms in Singapore, acronyms. So YSD, CM is Yong Siu To, Conservatory of Music. So you can see we are very comprehensive. Medicine, music, okay, and this one is the world-class music body, the Pia Body Institute. Okay? And our exchange students, we send out about 1,009. In fact, this is actually outdated now. Our exchange, inbound exchange students, we receive about 1,009 on semester abroad. Now, how do we take NUS to the world? So, about 70%, we are going to push this figure up in the next few years to 80%. So, 8 out of 10 students will have a chance to go on an overseas trip within their 4 years. Okay? And 30% of them would spend at least 6 months abroad. So we see it's very important. We stress a lot of students going abroad for global education. We believe that because of the changing global structure in the world, the rise of Asia and possibly a new country, China, to be have the largest economy, okay, and the changing geopolitical leadership in the world, it's important for our students to go abroad. And also to understand ASEAN, I think that our own neighborhood, understand the countries in our own neighborhood. Now, we also have about 70 double joint and concurrent degree programs with other universities, top universities in the world, 70. And reciprocal student exchanges with about 300 top universities in 40 countries. So we are very busy in the International Relations Office. We have lots of students coming, we send out a lot of students, and we have very, very meaningful engagements with various universities, including yours, and of course with AUN, ASEAN University Network Universities. We have 8 NUS overseas colleges, I'll touch on that later on, spread over in US, Europe, China, and India, and Israel. Our student exchange programs, I'm sure you have that in your school and your university as well, right? Yeah, we have so we partner with 300 universities worldwide in 40 countries. We have about 1,009 going out now and 1,009 coming in. Yeah. We'd like to have more students, but we have a housing constraint here, so sometimes it's very hard for us to accept more students. Yeah. We also have scholarships and awards, many types of scholarships to help students, because going abroad could be expensive, so we have different kinds of awards. This could be Fulbright, this could be coming from donors in Singapore, or could be TF Learn. I think you are aware of the Tamasi Foundation. Yes, I think you're also one of the participants in the TF Learn. Yeah? And also to prepare our students for going abroad, because our students go to many countries. They go to Sweden, they go to France, go to Germany, they also go to Korea. Korea now is becoming very popular. I do not know whether it's the same in Thailand, Is it the same in Thailand? Students want to go to Korea, yeah? Yeah. And the NUS students, they want to go to Korea. I think it's something to do with K-pop, yeah? Yeah. Okay, so in order for them to survive in Korea, because obviously they don't speak Korean here, they go for a language course here first, yeah? Preparation course. Same for German and French. So they take some courses here, and then they go for immersion there. Some of them even go for immersion to Germany and France, and then they come back, and then they also pursue sometimes a double degree there as well. Yeah. So you can see we have a lot of preparations. We have a lot of opportunities for our students to immerse themselves in foreign culture. Even Thai is offered here as a language in our Center for Language Studies. In fact, our deputy director in the Center for Language Studies, she's a Thai. Yes. Okay, I talked a little bit about NUS overseas colleges. Now, we do not actually have a physical college overseas. Okay, so what does this do? Now, it's very important because actually there are a lot of students who are very entrepreneurially minded. They want to start their own business after they graduate. They don't want just to work for an organization. They want to become the next Steve Jobs. They want to they want to build something that they're interested in and see how far they can take this project to apply to a business setting. So we actually nurture these students who are actually very interested in entrepreneurial studies. So how do we do it? Okay. Now we want to give students the opportunity to go abroad to see how it's done, because there are many countries that have very strong entrepreneurial culture. Israel is one of them. Yeah, Israel has got a startup nation. So many startup companies there. So we actually immerse NUS students in leading entrepreneurial hubs around the world. Where are these hubs? I will show it to you. So students actually go abroad for a few months to a year. Sometimes can even be 1 year. Okay, they will actually be attached to a high-tech startup company or innovative company. Okay, this could be maybe in digital media, it could be in some engineering companies, and they will learn from their founders and the entrepreneurs. How did they learn? They actually work there. Yeah, so we attach them to the company. They will actually be learning from the founders, because the companies are typically small, so a lot of times you have high interactivity with the founders even. The companies have to make sure that they are not more than 5 years old. Why? Because we want to simulate a real startup company where there's an actual very high chance of them failing. Startup companies, I think about 8 out of 10 actually fail, right? I mean, that is the reality of the game here. So we want to expose students to this kind of risk management, to understand there are risks. In fact, sometimes the students actually have to pull back because the companies actually fold up in the process of them being attached there overseas. Yeah. Now also, they at the same time, they don't just go there and do an internship, or they don't just go there and attach themselves to the company. They also pursue studies like a semester abroad in a partner university. So they spend half their time in the company, they spend half their time also in the university, like a normal study abroad, semester abroad. Okay, so these are our 8 colleges. So we don't actually, have I mentioned, we don't actually build a building there. We actually leverage on our partners, okay, for the students to attend courses, and we also leverage on the companies to offer learning environment. So these are the list. I think there are 8 here, 8 overseas colleges. We call it NUS overseas colleges. We like acronyms in Singapore, no? Bangkok is BKK, Singapore is SIN. When you arrive in SIN, you took the ECP, which is East Coast Parkway, to your hotel, and then today you came here, you probably took a bus on the AYE, which is the Ayer Rajah Expressway. Many acronyms, yeah? Singapore, sometimes wondering, what are you talking? You keep talking acronyms, and it's like, oh, we don't understand. So sometimes we as Singaporeans, we have to be very, very conscious of when we use acronyms. So NOC is actually NUS overseas colleges. There are 8 of them. You notice they are specially chosen because all these are educational nodes and educational hubs in the world. Silicon Valley, I think, needs no introduction. I think that's the the holy grail, yeah, of entrepreneurial studies down there. Of course, in Philadelphia, we have the Bio Valley. Yeah? This is the equivalent of a Silicon Valley. In Shanghai, we actually work with China's commercial hub and study at Fudan University, and we focus on China-related business. Yeah? And in Stockholm, our students love to go to Sweden. They're number 1 IT nation in Europe, so they study at KTH, yeah, and Royal Institute of Technology, and focus on mobile and IT and with a European perspective. In India, they are very strong in social enterprises. Yeah, so that's where we actually send students to understand the grassroots organizations and take part in entrepreneurial workshops. In Beijing, as another one, we have it in Shanghai and Beijing, also for students to work in China's political and high-tech hub. In Israel, as I mentioned, a very high startup nation. You know Israel, there are lots of startup companies there. So the students get to experience a startup culture that defines Israel. They uncover Israel's heritage of innovation and entrepreneurship. In New York as well, this is the newest. Yeah? Every year, every 3 years, we seem to be adding one new NOC. Yeah, so the latest is in New York. Of course, New York being very fast-paced, adrenaline, enhancing environment that will help our students understand. Okay, there's the global city of diversity and connectivity. So very much arts focus, design focus when students go to to New York and the rest of the other colleges. So as I mentioned in summary, for NOC, students go there, they take courses in the university, partner universities, and at the same time they are attached to a company. Now, we also work with a wonderful list of universities. You can see our global partnership stretches from Duke, as I mentioned. Okay, we have 2 graduate medical schools in NUS. One caters to graduate and one to undergraduate. The graduate one is actually in partnership with Duke. Yeah, they do a lot of cutting edge research there. MIT as well. Georgia Tech. Okay, Georgia Tech, we partner with them for logistics studies, supply chain, Science Co, and also for Masters in Public Policy, Columbia, LSE, London School of Economics. We work with Harvard, Stanford. We work with Munich. We also work with technical universities in Munich. We work with the French universities, the Grand Écoles. Yeah, of course, Peking University. And also students go there for the NUS program in New York, law program, and also ANU for joint double program degree in actual science studies and economics. So you can see, I don't think this is the whole list, yeah? This is just an example. If you show the whole list, you'll be here until like afternoon.
Even examples.
Yes, yes. Okay, so we have we have moved away from a British system. I think up to about 20 years ago, we are very much a comprehensive university, but very much with a British style of university management. Yeah? we realize that it's not just about teaching excellence. Or to be a good university, to be an excellent university, you need to have a very vibrant research culture. Yeah. So you need to have not just to teach well, but also to have cutting-edge research and also to have innovative entrepreneurial wing. So these are the three aspects of a good university. So we have a very vibrant research culture in NUS. We believe in building peaks, not just concentrate on one area. So that there are many people doing cancer research. There are people doing research on aging studies. There are people doing many types of research. We even have Asian Research Institute that focuses on Asian studies, geopolitical fault. We're trying to understand the fault lines in Asia. What does it mean when China is emerging as a country in the next 15 years will be the biggest economy in the world. So we do a lot of cutting-edge research on global impact or supporting national research objective. Now, you know Singapore is a small country, right? As I mentioned, Singapore is smaller than Bangkok, yeah? We are a very strange country, yeah? It's a city and the country and the capital city, yeah? So small, 710 square kilometers. How big is Bangkok? Do you know?
With population of
7 million?
8 million? In Bangkok? In Bangkok. 6 แล้วเราคนเท่าไหร่กี่ล้าน3 ล้านเหรอ about 5 or 6
5-6 million. Singapore is about 5.3 million, but I know definitely that our size in Singapore compared with metropolitan Bangkok, I think it's smaller. Singapore is smaller, yeah? Singapore is a very small country, capital city.
Bigger
It's so
than Phuket.
bigger than Phuket, yeah, I think so. I think it's bigger than Phuket. I must go and check again, but I think it's right.
It used to be the same size as Phuket, but now I think it is much bigger because you reclaim
Yeah,
land.
we reclaim. You know, we reclaim land. We actually put from the
expand.
sea, we expand, put soil, and like it, leave it there for 10-20 years, and when the soil has compacted, it's safe to build buildings. The whole city comes out from the sea.
I have been here many times, but every time I come, you see Singapore bigger and bigger.
Yes, yes. But still not so big like Thailand. So Singapore has many constraints. Space is one of them. Water, the growing need for electricity. How do we carve out land for commercial purposes? So this all translates into severe national constraint in Singapore. Yeah? We want to grow our population, but we don't have enough space to house them. We want to become a commercial hub, but we need to find new land for commercial activity, because you're going to have a bigger central business district with banks and all. You obviously have more land. So all these translate into national priorities, national research objectives. So what are these research objectives? So how do we get more water? How do we, we get a lot of rain here, but how do we sort of retain the rain so that we can use them for water? So that's why we actually developed this new technology called New Water, NEWATER. As I mentioned, it's an example of how we actually surmount our water crisis, as in a way. We have a lot of rain here, but we do not have enough land to capture the water. So you might think that Singapore, why do you have a water problem? Because we don't have enough land.
And where do you get water?
So what we do, we have 4 taps here now. One is really from the reservoir. So you build a reservoir, the water get collected. The other one will be desalination. The other one, we cheat a bit. We get water from Malaysia. Yes? And the 4th one is new water. So new water is water that goes down. This is not new water, I hope. But anyway, it's safe. Even new water, we can guarantee you that you will not fall sick when you drink it. So the water goes down the drain in all forms. I won't go into details because, it goes down and then it gets recycled. And the purification process is so stringent, it's actually cleaner than your conventional process. Trust me. Next time you should go to the New Water Center in the eastern part of Singapore. You can see how they purify. So this is an example of a national research objective. How do we do that? The other one is aging. Singapore is the fastest aging population after Japan, and I think the world or in Asia. So these are all our national objectives, and how do we surmount this? So we have a lot of research going into this area: water, land usage, cancer. All these are national. All these are national imperatives. Yeah. So what we want to do and to build a research culture is to build on the seamless transition from research discovery to exploitation. So these ideas, how do we commercialize them? How do we make them? How do we apply them? Yeah. Now you can see we have many university level research institutes or centers. These are only at the university level. There are more at the faculty level. Yeah, there are more, I think there are 100 more at the faculty level, but these are on university level. So you can see right from Asia Research Institute that focuses on Asia studies as the name implies. So some of them are grouped into regional areas and you research into the area, into the region. So it can be Asia Research, can be Middle East Research, Middle East Institute. It can also be in a discipline. Okay, for example, Institute of Mathematical Studies. Okay, it can also be in alternative energy, Solar Energy Research Institute of Singapore. They're seeing how to capture solar, as a power. Yeah, they are very. It's very interesting. Last year I learned that every 1 degree, sorry, let me get it correct. So what you do is that Singapore, we have lots of sunshine, and also we should be using more solar panels. But also, I think the institute is looking into things like how to reduce the temperature of a building. Because every 1 degree that you reduce the building temperature, you would save about 5% in energy consumption. So what they're doing now is they're trying to carpet the top of the buildings. You know the top of the buildings, they're usually concrete, right? It's usually, if you have a room under it, it's very hot, So they're trying to put grass, or they're trying to grow plants. By doing so, you reduce the temperature of the building. Yeah, and when you reduce the temperature of the building, so your aircon doesn't need to work so hard. So every 1 degree, I think you reduce by 5% consumption, mostly from aircon. So they're doing things like this, cutting edge research. There are many, I can go on and on and on, but there are so many areas that you can see here. You can see. There's also the Research Center of Excellence. Okay, this is actually funded by our National Research Foundation. Each of these centers is funded to the tune of $150 million US. You need lots of money for research, for cutting edge research. So we have these ones, RCEs, where the Center for Quantum Technologies, the Cancer Science Institute of Singapore. You know the cancer, some of the cancers are very endemic only to a certain group of people. Asian, you get nasal cancer, you tell the American, what do you have? You got nasal cancer, they haven't heard of it. So we need to have Asian perspective, we need to have Asian expertise in, say, a disease like cancer, to help our own self. So this example, and we have another 2 more. Yeah. So these are the kind of RCEs that we have in NUS. If there are any questions, you can just stop me here. Anything, just raise your hand and I can stop. Because I know Singaporeans, we talk very fast, so I try to. Okay, NUS reputation is rising. Okay, we are number 21 now. Actually, sometimes students are more concerned about our own rankings than we ourselves. Sometimes these are rankings.
This is in the world.
Yes. Okay, this is the Times THE ranking. Sometimes they want to know what is your university ranking. The parents want to know as well. So as far as sometimes we are not so much concerned about where we are, although it's an indicator, and if we are 21, we'll celebrate it. But the student seems to be more interested in the ranking than us as a university. But anyway, it's good and it's something that we celebrate, but we don't go around blowing our own trumpet. This is THE, this is a World University ranking, so you can see we're number 26 here. In the Asia ranking, we are number 2, and for the QS ranking, we are number 1. This is the latest figure. Okay, QS World University ranking, we are number 24. And it's important actually to see where we are, because we are in that group with Berkeley and University of Hong Kong. So it's important to see, to have an idea who you are actually on that list. Okay, enough of rankings, These are all. Now, building global partnerships, I mentioned, we stress a lot of globalizing our university. Okay, how do we do that? We work with students, we encourage them to go abroad. And also for research, we encourage our researchers to collaborate with other researchers from around the world. And also we work with networks as well. It's very important. You cannot do things just for yourself. Sometimes you have like-minded researchers from a cluster university, and it's good for you to work with them. And of course, it's synergy in many university alliances. So, for example, the one that we readily know is ASEAN University Network. I'm sure that Thammasat is a member, right, of AUN. Are you not?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So the ASEAN University Network is one. We work with ASEAN universities. It's important because it's our neighbors. Yeah, we like to know our neighbors better. We like to work with them. We also have the Universitat University 21, Association of Pacific Rim Universities. So you have it from all the way from South America, some American universities, and also some Asian universities. YARU, IARU, there are 10 of them. So these would be, for example, Oxford and Cambridge, Peking, Stockholm, and these universities actually are very research intensive. So our researchers actually very thankful for this opportunity to work with. So basically, what I'm trying to say here is that we actually leverage on our global partnership. We don't just go in isolation. Yeah. Now, what are our NUS's strategic trusts? How do we position NUS for the future? We're always looking at what's going to happen in 5, 10, 15 years down the road. How can we ensure that we would be able to meet the needs, okay, for a new global structure, okay, or what will be the imperatives for our country? How do we ensure that we are still relevant? Okay. Now, one of the things that we have done, I think you notice about Singapore's education system. For many years, we didn't have liberal arts education. Yeah, you all had liberal arts, right? Faculty of liberal arts, right? So this was about 8 years ago. We recognized the need to have a liberal arts college in Singapore. So this has actually come into full swing. The buildings are coming up. I'm not sure we got a chance to pass by on the highway. Did you see about 4 or 5 towers on the other side of our university is broken up into 2 parts. Yeah. So on the other side we have the university town and we have the liberal arts college. So this
started this year.
Yes. No. It started 2 years ago.
2 years.
But the buildings are being built, but the students have already been enrolled. So we are going to the 2nd year of our liberal arts college. So we have about 400 students now. A steady state in about 3 years' time, we have about 1,000 students. Yeah. The buildings are not up yet, so the students are still being housed in temporary buildings, loaned from other faculties. But the building will be up by end of this year. You come back and visit us. This picture here will be a reality by then.
How will be different from arts and social science?
It's different because the curriculum is different, and also the stress or the methodology of teaching and pedagogy will be different. So I have another slide I'll show it to you after this. There's a slide after this I'll show you. Yeah. So this is actually to provide a model of liberal arts education in Asia. It's a collaboration with Yale University, as the name suggests. You know Yale is in New Haven in Connecticut. Yeah. 4-year program started last year. A steady state with 1,000 students. So I think Professor asked a very good questions like how is this different from arts and social science and yeah. So the 4 distinctive features here, the curriculum is different, yeah. So the curriculum synthesizes, we bring forth, we synthesize Western and Asian perspective. So we don't just talk about Machiavelli, we don't just talk about the Prince, Machiavellian philosophy. We also talk about Sun Tzu. We're going to talk about Aristotle. We also talk about Confucius. We bring East and West together. Yeah. So it's not lock, stock, and barrel from Yale in Connecticut. Otherwise, it's meaningless. You must not just go to Yale, right? Okay. Our value proposition in having a liberal arts college in Asia is we want to see the contrast, okay, between East and West, between different schools of thoughts, okay, between different great philosophers. So synthesizes Western and Asian perspective with an integrated general education. Okay. Residential college is another new system we are bringing here. What happens is the students actually study, play, interact with one another in the same building. A lot of times they actually come down from their apartment, and they take a lift down 10 stories, and they have the classes at the podium block. So this actually encourages students to mix up with one another and to carry forward, continue the conversation and the intellectual stimulation and engagement with one another from the classroom right up to maybe dinner, and maybe if they sleep for 2 hours or 3 hours, which is often the case for young people in NUS, they will up and continue the conversation at breakfast. So a residential college, and they have also access, and they have dinner, and they have very ready access to their masters and their fellows, and also their lecturers and their professors. Yeah, because they will probably be staying in the same block of flats, or if not the same block, will be within a stone's throw from one another. So residential college actually allows create a sense of community. Mm-hmm. The pedagogy is also different as well, because it emphasizes critical thinking, okay, and a high level interaction. So that's how it's different from, say, the arts and social sciences. Yeah, the pedagogy could be different. Curriculum is also different. Mm-hmm. And also, of course, students don't just study, we also have ECA and CCAs, yeah? Extracurricular and co-curricular activities. This is to develop their leadership skills, to give them a holistic education, teamwork and community service, and global experience and internship opportunities. Okay, this is the university town. If you actually come from the expressway, if you look at the other side of the campus, you will actually see these buildings coming up. The uncompleted buildings will be the Yale NUS, and the completed buildings are actually the U-Town residences. So this is an extension of our campus. This picture actually shows the first day where we actually opened a U-Town, and actually there was a symbolic procession led by our President Tan, Professor Tan Chor Chuan, led the students to symbolically open and launch this new U-Town. Residential colleges there as well. So it's not just in the Yale NUS. We also took this concept for other housing options in NUS. So as to foster a closer community spirit and also learning and playing with one another, in an environment that supports closer interactions. So University Town is an extension of NUS, the main campus, because we need more land and we're going to create more facilities and a bigger and a more comprehensive learning environment for our students. As I mentioned, U-Town has a very diverse student community. You go down there, the other day I met someone from Bhutan. Mm-hmm. First time I met someone from Bhutan. Bhutan. It's quite near Thailand, yeah? A good mix of, so we have a very good mix of local international students, all disciplines, residential college learning, small groups exploring global issues of Asian perspective, and we also have a building that has a research facility from MIT, the Swiss Etihad, and Zurich and Technion. Okay? So this is actually where the research, that's why I mentioned all these universities here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're housed inside this CREATE. Another acronym, yeah, CREATE, which actually stands for Campus of Research Excellence and Technological Enterprise, located inside here. So you can see we have a very good research facilities here and very good collaborative partnerships with them. Now, the second strategic thrust is also for NUS is to have integrative research clusters. Yeah, some of these social issues and some of these issues that we are looking at, they cannot be tackled by one discipline. No, it's not so simple anymore. The world is very complex. The social issues requires many different researchers from different backgrounds, from different disciplines with different competencies. Yeah. For example, to tackle the issue of aging, it's not just about medicine. It's also about business, because how do you ensure retirees have enough money after they retire? So we have to get risk finance people to come in. We have to manage their financial resources. We have to get people to look at sustainable solutions. The cities, this one here. How do we build cities when Singapore is aging? So we need to have more housing that cater to elderly people. Mm-hmm. What would be the needs for these elderly people? Do they need bigger apartments, smaller apartments? Do they have to have facilities that might trigger off if they fall down in the flat? Or how would they be activated? How would the hospital or how would the medical people know how to help them? So we need a whole group of people to understand an issue like aging in Asian context. And that's how we do it. We actually work the researchers work in clusters. They don't just look into their own particular discipline and say that's it. Because whatever you understand the discipline could have also very integrated, or also have knock-on effect on other areas of other people's disciplines. So you need to come together to look at this holistically. Yes.
Do these people work after they retire?
Do these?
Do these aging people work after?
You mean not? You're talking of the public, yeah? Do they work after they retire?
Uh-huh.
Okay, Singapore's retirement age is actually 62 now. Mm-hmm. Okay, and after 62, you are given opportunity to come back. Yeah, I think on a yearly basis, subjected to the what the company's constraints are, and also, but we always encourage older retirees to come back, to give them opportunities. Because really 62 is very young now, yeah. We have moved this to the stage where people die at 70. Now people live up to 90 years old. So that's an important issue for Singapore as well. Retirement in Singapore, aging in Singapore. What are we going to do with active-minded Singaporeans who are not poor but have nothing to do if they retire? They might go crazy, So you need to keep them active. Yeah.
Yeah, you have activities for them too.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So we're always thinking, aging is a big issue in Singapore. Now, NUS is situated in the western part of Singapore, and we are very lucky because we have a very intellectual community here. Because apart from the university, we also have a hospital here. We also have our research facilities nearby. We also have Science Park. We also have another business school on the other side run by INSEAD. So what we do is what we call the synergy in proximity. So this is actually advantageous for our NUS researchers, for our students. Why? Because if they want to pop into each other, if they want to go to academic symposium or seminar, or they can go to each other's lab within 20 minutes. It's very close by. So this helps to foster the learning environment. We call it synergy in proximity. So we are here now. I'm not sure which way you came from. Which part of Singapore are you staying here in Singapore? Which hotel are you staying? Oh, that's the emerging port. Is that near the river?
It's not
Near the university.
Near Bugis. Okay, so you probably came across on this highway here today. Yeah, we are here now. So just now I was telling you about U-Town. So this is actually the NUS Cambridge campus. Yeah, there's a bridge that goes across here. This is U-Town. This part is U-Town. Yeah, and this is where the NUS Yale School, NUS Yale Arts Liberal Arts College here. This is the AYE, and your hotel is really down here. And I'm sure it's not on this map. It's too. Singapore is small, but not so small, so I still cannot show you the map. Okay, so we have Fusionopolis, Biopolis, all these are science park. Yeah? Our university is here, so you can see synergy in proximity. So in summary, NUS is a global research intensive university, very important, and will continue to be so. We have a rich tradition of nurturing leaders, and we hope we will continue to do so by giving our students maximum support in whatever their interests and their expertise. We are a leader in global education, rising research quality and impact, and a leading global university centered in Asia. So thank you very much. I hope that you found the slides informative, and I can take any questions, or if you'd like to ask any particular question about social media marketing, my colleague Mimi is here. Yes. Any questions?
When you talk about U-Town, university town, it means that you plan to have all universities, every universities?
No. We call it U-Town just as a catchy name. We want it to be a town because we very much want to have a research facility there. We also want to have supporting facilities, non-academic facilities for students as well. So you have the sports facilities there. You got some shops to support students because we have about 2,000 students living there, maybe more now in U-Town. So obviously they need to. It's like a town now. It's a small.
Just for NUS.
Yes, correct. Yeah, and we have research facilities. So we do have some our research partners doing research in that building called the Create building. We also have some shops. We have a restaurant. We have food court. We have educational resource center. We have rooms for students to study rooms. We have rooms for Mac computers, for PCs. We have rooms for discussions. Yeah, and we have residential colleges there as well. So students study and live, study and play there. We have sports facilities. We have a very big salon that students can play frisbee. So that's why we call it U Town. U, but it's actually University Town.
Just how you train your students about new technology. They learn by themselves, or you have some course, or
New technology. What sort of new technology?
especially about, for example, about Google for education, or you have some tools to train them.
Oh, okay.
Students probably on the communications and new media
Yes,
courses
yes.
will likely be more trained. But if you're talking about general technology courses,
Yes.
I think it will be specific to their faculties and what they're actually doing.
How about liberal arts?
Liberal arts.
Yes.
Liberal arts, we encourage students to question, to be critical. We want to foster this critical thinking mindset. And I'll give you an example. An example would be, this is a very strange example, but I think it's what it is. We had a common dining area for two residential colleges. You know, they are in two different buildings in U-Town. But they have a common dining area. So they were thinking, would the dining area have a separation? Should it be, okay, this is residential college A, this residential college B. Should we have the partition? The partition is not for man, woman, it's not. It's just for, because your house in Tower A, you should dine on this side, and Tower B, you should at that side. So this actually, it was very interesting. It seems almost irrelevant, but the students actually, because of this, they take up, and we left the students to go and debate about this. So this whole idea of having a separation actually developed to a whole discussion about social segregation. It developed into a discussion about the Berlin Wall. It developed to a discussion about Israel, what's happening in there now. So students actually are encouraged to think critically. Very interesting, you know. A simple thing like whether they should segregate. I think now they took down the segregation, but it was very interesting to foster. So some of the things students actually encourage them to think out of the box, critically examine issues, and not just take the status quo. That's only one example. And students have many social issues. Some are controversial in nature, but we don't want to sweep it under the carpet. So we let the students debate about it. It can be anything with regards to society, with regards to, and that's why I think the study of liberal arts is very important.
And what kind of courses do you plan to have to teach critical thinking?
Course for critical
I mean
thinking.
the subjects.
Okay, they study the great thinkers. They studied the philosophy. So that's like they had to do all the Aristotle, Sun Tzu, the art of war. They do Confucius, the Greek philosophers, the big ones. Yeah. So these are examples, and then they also have different options. The students would have different options to in politics, economics, and all that. In many areas. Yeah.
But philosophy would be the main.
I won't say the main, but definitely that would be the underlying, because you need really to understand the main philosophers and what they're thinking. So in sociology will probably be Durkheim, will be Weber, Marx, things like this. Politics, the great thinkers. So the thing about liberal arts college, and I'm sure you will actually attest to that, is that they don't come up with a vocational degree. They're not going to come out as engineers. They're not going to come out as philosophers. Yeah, they're going to come up with the good ability to connect social issues, to connect challenges, and find solution in a holistic understanding. So they would know a little bit about, I won't say, we know quite a bit about philosophy. They'll know a little bit about politics. They'll know about how things work in the material world, science, engineering, a little bit of that. And you need all that to understand how to tackle a social issue. I mean, you take many, so you take sustainability issues now. I mean, how do you prepare the world for a more sustainable future? How do you encourage green movement? And you need to understand, right, how you're going to lobby for it. So obviously politics, right? You need to understand, is society prepared, to have to go for these more expensive alternatives? What does that mean for third world countries? Are they even there? Do you even understand this issue? How do you market it? All many issues. So you need to have a very integrated understanding of that.
So how are you going to manage this faculty? For example, in our liberal arts faculty, we have 14 departments, and we teach differently. We have history, geography, we have philosophy, literature, English, French, and so and so.
Okay, I don't know how to
It's
answer your question because
yeah.
I'm not from the Yale, and I'm sure if we have a representative from there, it will be so much.
It
more.
seems that we have to integrate
Sure.
things together so that the students have, global thinking or knowledge. But we have languages teaching in this faculty too.
Yes, we have languages. They learn different languages. It's left to them. I don't think it's compulsory, so the students get to choose languages. So we'll just introduce Spanish language in the Yale NUS college. But coming back to your question again, I think there are some foundational courses which we felt that all liberal arts students need to know. The main big debates in society, and nurture versus nature, a lot of political, how do capitalism versus communism versus whatever. So I think these are the main things you really need to have a good grasp on, right?
That's only
beyond
for
that,
liberal arts.
yes, correct. And then beyond that, I think you can do different options to deepen your understanding. So the students can do there's a module, but there is a foundation set of courses. I hope that helps. But if you really need more information, I can put you in touch with my colleagues from Yale and US, because I'm sure whatever I'm saying is only just scratching the surface. I'm sure they know pedagogy and the curriculum much better than I do. Yes.
We have liberal arts education training for first year students,
Yes.
but that is for all the students in
Yes.
the university, not only for liberal arts students. Yeah,
So
but
it's a foundational course, you mean?
uh,
That all students have to take? Like a
liberal
foundation
arts,
course?
yes.
I see.
But for our students from second year up, they have to
Specialize.
in French or German or.
Oh no, we don't do that.
You don't do
No,
that.
they don't specialize in a way. They definitely don't specialize in any language. So if anything, it will be an add-on. If they want to learn Spanish, it's an option, but it's not mandated for everybody.
So basically, you emphasize critical thinking
Yes, critical
in
thinking.
different areas.
That's right. That's right. And also a synthesis of both Western and Asian thinkers. So that's quite different, because
That would include literature.
literature, yes,
History.
even poetry, even the philosophy, politics as well. Economists. So
But not as deep as those who are in political science.
no, they don't have that amount of time to specialize in that particular area. And the whole idea of liberal arts is so that they will know enough, to connect these social issues in a coherent manner and to tackle these issues when we learn them. Yeah.
And they can take a course curriculum. For example, they can take courses in political science or in law or
Not in law, no. I don't. If it's a law module, it will probably be a module. They will not specialize, become a law.
And
So they will
because
not.
you take some courses in those.
Yes, there definitely. There are some courses in law, but they will definitely not come out as qualified
No.
lawyers. They won't be.
But
Because you
they
probably
can
need to know.
discuss that for their interest.
Yes, of course. So, for example, maybe you need to learn maybe to understand sustainability and green movement. You need to know maybe the Treaty of the Seas, maybe. So you need to take a course on law in that area. I don't know how to protect the oceans.
But
or
for liberal arts students,
degradation.
it just touch on
Yes.
some area of those things.
Yes, but of course, the individual students could have their own liking, and they might personally they want to go in more into a certain domain or study or discipline. So I think they can pursue that. But they don't come up with any vocational expertise in any particular area. They're not going to come up with, say, a political science degree. No. Yeah, it's obviously like what you do there, liberal arts. I think that's even more useful because you know a little bit of everything. You're able to piece together, and I think it's becoming that way for a globalized world where issues cannot be solved by one discipline. You cannot say tackle sustainability or by a science just from a science understanding of science. You really need to understand how you market this idea, right? So you need to know a little bit about business. You need to know a little bit more about various other areas. Yeah. So you come up with a very good holistic understanding of the world, and this is what is needed in a more complex world where social issues are intertwined with one another.
We may have to come back later with our dean, probably our dean, to go to the
yes,
yeah,
we'd like to invite
so
you to
that
go to Yale.
he can see deeper into what you are doing in
Yes.
liberal arts.
And next year will be a
It
good
is
year to come.
interesting.
Because next year, when you come here next year, after January, February, the buildings will be up.
Yeah, after your building.
Yes. So please come back.
Yeah.
Make it an annual visit. You
It
came
is
here last year.
interesting, yeah. Because we are thinking of putting these departments together, but we are going to see how to break the wall.
Okay.
Break the walls.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm probably not the best person to speak on this curriculum. You probably need to speak to the faculty members and the management of Yale and US, because they would be able to give you to answer your questions in a more pinpointed and more comprehensive manner. I can only give you what I know, because I don't come from so I don't want to give you wrong information. Then you build your model on something which I said. My goodness, I certainly will not offer that advice.
But from your information, you know, we can get a lot of knowledge about how you manage your university. That is why your university goes up to as top universities in the world and even in Asia and Southeast Asia.
Yes. Yeah, the infusion of West and East and West.
Yeah.
So previously a lot of students would know everything about the West, but you do not know that their own backyard they have philosophers, they have great thinkers. Asia, Asia is emerging now.
Yes.
They're so rich in the culture, so rich in political thought. In many areas, we are also leading. Design as well in Asia, Thailand, we are very good arts and design culture. Are there any more questions? Any question on social media marketing?
Can you talk about social media marketing in briefly for us, please? About your social media marketing in your university. Yes.
Okay,
So what do
I
you
can
do?
only address it in terms of probably what we do at International Relations Office. So nothing fancy. We use the website, we use the Facebook, and we are also using Instagram for one of our events that is up and coming. So generally these, for the NUS as a whole, I know that they use Twitter and they use Facebook as well. So these are the two that they use generally. And there are some challenges with students. I think students these days, they sort of do not really want us to be in their space, so-called. So I know that for NUS, it's always a challenge to reach out to students to get them to be, involved in our social media. But we try, nevertheless, and we try different ways to see what works and what doesn't work. So I don't know if does that answer your question? General.
Some universities, such as Hawaii University, they cooperate with Google
I see. Okay.
to use some tools in their university.
As in Google Ads
Yes,
and things like
yes.
that. I don't think that's something that NUS does. We did think about using Facebook ads at one point, but not at the moment. So something that we're thinking maybe, but not going into it yet. Yeah.
In Thailand, we have some case that when a teacher use Facebook and maybe student comment something that make a
Yes.
teacher
I think,
feel upset. How about here? Have that
It's
case
the
on?
same thing. On the NUS Facebook, I think there's a challenge. on the IRO, the international relations, we are still quite okay with our comments. So far, nothing, nothing yet. But on the NUS one, I do see certain comments that are not very pleasant. But I think the main mandate for them is to leave it there unless it's quite abusive and then it's being removed. And I mean, even NUS teachers get into that situation as well. We did have situations where NUS teachers comment something and then, it's nothing I think really that we can control.
So it's very much a self-policing environment. We want to foster, so we don't need to go in there and say, hey, why you make the comment? I think people have reached a level of maturity. After a while, they know how to behave on the social media. And sometimes because the student says something that is really outrageous, and we have a student who actually will jump in and say, hey, that's really wrong, and that's not in a correct spirit, or blah, blah, blah. This self-policing among the students without any intervention by the teachers or the academic staff. But of course, if it's something very, very outrageous and it's almost slanderous, then I think the provost has to step in, and it has happened before. Some in bad taste, outrageous comments, politically incorrect, or you are looking down on a particular disadvantaged group. I think all those areas, no. But I think by and large, you reach the level of maturity, students know. And I think the lecturers always tell them, when you go on social media, you really have to exercise restraint. And it's not a free-for-all where you can express, fascism or communism or whatever thoughts you might have, in an extreme manner. I think, and by and large, Singaporeans are quite moderated people, and it's good that, but of course, occasionally we might get that, and that's when, unfortunately, provosts need to come in and the lecturers.
If it gets really bad. If not, sometimes it's just left there, and our stand is not to, comment further, just to leave it.
So you use Facebook for sharing documents for students also or not? When a lecturer have some document that would like to share to their student,
they use other platforms. They don't use Facebook.
No.
They don't use it. They have an integrated learning environment, e-learning environment. They can go into it and learn through the internet and also from the NUS website or whatever platform they have, portal for students. I think Facebook is more used for communicating,
to market maybe certain things, to make certain announcements, to share news. What's the latest at NUS, and some photos. Maybe like we're having our commencement recently, so they put up the photos. Then the alumni can take a look, things like that. So more social, not so much for to share courses.
And also the other aspect of having e-learning is important because we never know. We had a very bad experience about 10 years ago when we had SARS. SARS, you remember SARS? Severe acute respiratory syndrome. So you can't come to school. You cannot go in the classroom. You need to learn in your home, by yourself. So
and you facilitate that.
Sorry?
You facilitate.
Yes. So we have it up on the portal. You can still learn. You can still Skype. You can still communicate, but without actually being seated next to one another because of the nature of the virus spreading. We didn't allow for that. But that's obviously another reason why it's e-learning. But we do not believe that everything should be e-learning. It should be a hybrid system. We don't believe that students should just e-learn and there's no contact time with the lecturers and we don't. That's not NUS. So MOOCs and all that, the mass learning online, it's not really something that we are going ahead with. Small degree, but not 100%.
But they have to attend classes.
Of course. Well, are there any more questions? If not, we'd like to perhaps take a group photograph.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
ซีนที่ 3 สินค้าฟุ่มเฟือยอะไรรถยนต์นะคะทั้งหมดเพราะว่าที่บ้านเขาก็ไม่ได้มีใช้ที่แบบเดินทางทางทะเลไปอยู่ที่ไหนก็ตามการตากผ้าแบบนี้เนี่ยก็ตาก